The plane rumbled softly as it prepared for takeoff, sunlight pouring through the narrow windows like hopeful streams of gold. But for Marina Hale, the day felt far from hopeful. She clutched the frayed straps of her old handbag, her heart pounding harder than the engine beneath her. It was supposed to be a new beginning, just a short flight, just a job interview on the other side of the country. Yet deep inside, Marina feared she was running out of second chances. Her savings were gone, her confidence nearly drained, and her 5-year-old son Finn slept across her lap, unaware that this flight might decide their future. If this job interview fails, she thought, I don't know how much more we can survive. Before the story continues, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and stories that heal hurting hearts, please make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel, Wave of Kindness. As passengers settled, Marina noticed a little girl seated beside her. She was dressed neatly, her curly hair clipped with tiny pastel barrettes, and she held a small cookie wrapped in tissue. Her name, according to the luggage tag dangling from her backpack, was Isla Rowan. The girl looked about 7, bright-eyed, curious, and far too calm for a child flying alone. Moments later, a tall man in an expensive charcoal suit approached, placing a tablet into the seat pocket before giving the girl a gentle pat on the shoulder. His features were sharp and polished, like someone who didn't know what struggle felt like. This was Damon Rowan, CEO of Rowan Tech Industries, a name Marina recognized from billboards and magazines. She felt suddenly smaller, as if life had intentionally seated her beside someone living on a different planet. The flight took off, and Finn stirred, waking softly. Marina whispered comforting words, though her own chest felt tight with fear. Isla turned toward her, watching mother and son with innocent fascination. After a while, Isla held her cookie with both hands, looked up at Marina with the pure sincerity only children carry, and whispered, "If I share my cookie, will you stay?" Marina blinked, confused. Isla glanced toward the aisle where her father, Damon, had already slipped into a business call. "He's always busy," Isla said softly, though trying to keep her voice brave. "People leave a lot. My nanny left this morning, and I don't like being alone on planes." Something about the child's honesty pierced right through Marina, warming places in her heart she thought were frozen. Trying not to show it, Marina smiled and gently broke the cookie into 3 pieces, one for Isla, one for Finn, and one for herself. The gesture made Isla beam as though she'd been handed the sun itself. As the flight went on, the little girl talked in small bursts, always glancing at her father, always returning to Marina as if seeking safety. She spoke about wanting friends her father didn't have time to meet, about missing her mother who had passed 2 years ago, and how nights felt colder without bedtime stories. Marina listened with tenderness, realizing that despite the world of wealth around the girl, her loneliness was deeper than anything money could fix. At some point, Damon noticed the unexpected bond forming between the three. When turbulence shook the cabin, Isla instantly grabbed Marina's hand, not her father's. Damon watched, surprised and oddly affected, as if seeing his daughter's vulnerability for the first time. After the shaking eased, he leaned over and quietly asked if everything was all right. Marina nodded politely, though she felt his eyes linger, studying the worn edges of her clothes, the faded bag, the exhaustion etched into her face. It wasn't judgment she saw, though, it was concern. When Finn asked for water, Marina realized her wallet was nearly empty. She hesitated, but before she could decline, Damon stood and returned with drinks and snacks for all three. He didn't say much, but there was a softness in his expression now, a softness that came from understanding rather than obligation. The connection only deepened when Isla fell asleep with her head resting on Marina's arm, her small fingers curled around Marina's sleeve like she never wanted to let go. When the plane landed and passengers began to exit, Isla woke suddenly and clung tightly to Marina. "You will stay, right? You won't disappear like everyone else," she whispered with trembling concern. Marina gently tucked a curl behind the girl's ear and assured her that she wasn't going anywhere just yet. Damon paused, clearly moved, and asked Marina to join them for lunch before her interview. Something in his voice hinted that he was asking for more than courtesy. He was asking because he saw something rare, something healing, something his daughter needed and he himself had forgotten to feel. During lunch at the airport cafe, everything unfolded like a miracle stitched carefully into an ordinary afternoon. Damon learned about Marina's struggles, her endless efforts to provide a life for Finn, and her belief that kindness still mattered in a world that didn't always give it back. Damon, in turn, opened up about the pressures of single fatherhood, the fear of failing his daughter emotionally despite giving her everything materially. He confessed that seeing Isla cling to Marina made him realize how much warmth had been missing in their lives. By the time Marina stood to leave for her interview, Damon made an unexpected offer, not as a CEO, but as a father. He asked whether she would consider working for him directly, in a position that aligned with her skills but also allowed Isla to spend more time with someone she already trusted. The opportunity, the respect in his tone, and the hope in Isla's eyes brought tears to Marina's own. For the first time in years, her future didn't look like a long tunnel, it looked like daylight.